Hello, everyone. Steve here with another episode of What's Up, New London. In this episode, we'll take a quick recap look at last evening's council meeting, and then we'll take a look at the Firelands Labor Day Festival financials. I know a lot of people are interested in that. First up, looking at last evening's council meeting, the mayor was not present last evening. He's out of town. We hope Miss Sherry's doing well. Our thoughts are with them. Sean's on his way back from Tennessee, so no administrator's report. Chief Joe Hicks in the police report did mention that the new cruiser has been delivered. It's still getting some work done on the electronics with the radio and the electronics, but it should be hopefully on service, and we'll see it on the road here in a week or two. In the recreation report, Joe Thomas thanked all the volunteers for helping and everybody that helped put on the Firelands Labor Day Festival, everybody who came out and enjoyed the festival. He said the festival was a great success, and just nothing but thanks for everybody that helped make it possible. And also wanted to remind everyone that the parks golf outing is coming up on this next Saturday. So if you're signed up for the golf outing, I know as of last night he had room for one more team. I'm not sure if he filled that slot or not, but if you're signed up for the golf outing, it's going to be a great day on Saturday out at Millstone Hill supporting the parks. In regular business, Council passed the third and final reading of Ordinance 2023-17, adjusting the pay rates for village employees. Passed the second reading of Ordinance 2023-18, amending the village employee handbook relative to longevity pay. Also passed the second reading of Ordinance 2023-19, amending several sections of the codified ordinances relative to utility rates. Will implement a small increase in utility rates, water, sanitation, wastewater, etc. So that was the second reading on that, and they also passed the second reading on Ordinance 2023-20. This is a ordinance that's passed every year that allows the state of Ohio ODOT to put markings down, signs up, maintain, plow, salt, etc. on the state highways within the village limits. And they passed a resolution 2023-04. This is another one of those administrative things that takes place every year, just certifying back to the county auditor that accept the amounts and rates as determined by the auditor and the Budget Commission, and authorizing the necessary tax levies. There were no old business, new business, so it was a quiet meeting. That was it for the council meeting. And next up, we'll take a look at some of the financials for the 2023 Firelands Labor Day Festival. All right, folks, we'll take a look at the 2023 Firelands Labor Day Festival accounting. Before we get into the numbers, a few things I think it's important to go over. One very important fact that is important for everyone to understand, that per the recommendation of the state auditors, the festival is not operated by the Village of New London. No village taxpayer money is expensed or revenue generated by the festival. The festival is operated by the nonprofit organization, the New London Park Improvement Corporation. Any revenue generated by the festival or other fundraising activities is then donated back to the parks for various improvement projects. This isn't anything new. This has been in effect for 6 or 7 years now, when the state auditors finally came to the village and said, look, it's virtually impossible for any municipality to operate this type of a festival and comply with all the requirements for municipal finance auditing. And their recommendation was that they said most other municipalities had already done was turn the festival over to a nonprofit, let the nonprofit run it, and then donate any proceeds back. So that's the way it works. It is not village money going out. It's not village money coming in. It's all managed and run by the nonprofit organization. The other big misconception with the festival is that it's a big moneymaker, and as you'll see when we get through the numbers, in fact, it's a challenge to break even and not operate at a loss. The big events, the Demolition Derby, Truck Pull, and Tractor Pull, are all money losers and rely on the gate to support them to be able to provide that entertainment to the public. I know there's some keyboard warriors out there, we see it every year, that want to make shaded comments about the festival not being operated the way it should be, or questioning the accounting. Well, I look forward to seeing them at committee meetings next year and being in the depot with us to observe the accounting and the operation, and let them see there's nothing hidden here. If you think it's not being done right, well, we welcome you to come out and join the volunteers and show us what we're doing wrong. Taking a look at the big three events individually, and then we'll look at just an overall balance sheet. The Demolition Derby first up. You see the expenses in red on the left and the income or revenue on the right. The only revenue directly generated by the Demolition Derby is the entry fees of the cars themselves. And this year, and we had a record year, more cars than the Huron County Fair. There was $1,890 in entry fees. But you pay out for that number of classes, $8,700 and $970 in trophies, $150 for the announcer, $1,500 for the demo crew. That is an outfit that comes in and runs the demo. They do all the car inspections, set up the classes, bring in equipment to clear the pits, the whole thing there, run the demo for us. So you end up with a total expense of $11,320 with a net on the demo of a $9,430 loss. And it's important to point out that this does not include the bleacher rental. Since we no longer within the village have the bleacher capacity, safe bleachers to use, we have to rent bleachers every year. Since the bleachers are used across at least 3 different events, the polls and the demo, rather than include them in any of the individual events, I just listed the bleacher rental as an overall expense on the balance sheet. Up next, looking at the truck pull, same type situation, pay out $4,800, but you only take in $855 in entry fees. The sled costs $6,000 this year, so I attribute half of that to each of the polls, so $3,000 for the sled for the truck pull. So the truck pull comes in at a net loss of $6,945. And I caveat that by saying all of the work done by Chris Rowland and his crew to put on the poles, the hours they spend out there getting the track ready, all the equipment they use is all donated, and that's all volunteer work. That is a huge cost savings. If we had to pay somebody to come in and do that, it'd be even worse. But we greatly appreciate everything they do. And again, that is all volunteer time, and all that equipment is donated at no charge. Looking at the tractor pull, had a lot of tractors this year, but that means you got a lot of payouts. So payouts was $13,600. Again, half of the sled bill at $3,000. With that many tractors did generate $5,620 in entry fees. But even with that, that leaves the tractor pull at a net loss of $10,980. Looking at the overall balance sheet, and hopefully you can see this is probably somewhat of an eye test, but on the left-hand side, all the miscellaneous various expenses that go into putting on a festival like this. A couple of the big ticket items, again, the amusement contractor, the ride contractor. I know folks would like to see a bigger, better ride contractor in there. We got what we could get, and that cost $17,000. The bleachers, to rent the bleachers for the events, $8,750. That's a big expense. Of course, the poles and the demo, we said, money losers. The fireworks, hats off to Terry. What an amazing fireworks show this year. But folks, that stuff isn't free. $9,000 for that fireworks show. So the expenses, I'm not going to read through every single one of them. You can see them there on the chart, but the expenses total up to be $75,996.20. Looking at the revenue, as you look through those, it's clear to see that the gates and the camping really support the festival. Food vendors helps out with $4,200. That's the fees the vendors, the various food vendors pay to set up in there for the weekend. French fry stand netted a little over $6,000, $6,176, and that is after we donate back $500 to each of the 3 booster groups that run the French fry stand for the Recreation Committee for the weekend. So that $1,500 already comes off of that. So the French fry stand net was $6,176. So gates were pretty good this year, $51,150. We had a really good day on Sunday. Saturday's gates were slow. Monday's gates were a little slow, but we did have pretty good pre-sale pass tickets. So the more you pre-sale, the less you're going to have at the day gate. So it's always a bit of a trade-off. One change we're going to make for next year is on Saturday next year, we will be selling weekend passes at the gates on Saturday. So if you come out on Saturday, you'll have the option of buying either the single day pass for Saturday or buying a weekend pass. Hopefully we'll sell a few more weekend passes. It'll make things a little easier because even though we say the cutoff's on Friday, there's always people Friday evening, Saturday morning, all the way till Saturday afternoon coming in asking to buy weekend passes. So we're just going to go ahead and sell weekend passes on Saturday next year. But you can look there, like I say again, the big hitters between the gates and the camping really support the festival. But all total, the revenue, $83,099.16. So the way it stands right now, the festival's in the good, $7,102.96. And as the note says, we know there's still some bills coming. Highlighted in the expense column, the ones highlighted in yellow, the ice supplier. I know we've got a bill coming from Miller's Jet and Vasu for the radios. There may be something else out there that we forgot about that'll come in. It's not uncommon for a bill to trickle in a month or two after the festival. Also know that on the revenue side, we should have a check coming for the Eagles for a percentage from the beer tent, and we do have some camping spots for 2024 that have not been paid. So hopefully a couple $1,000s in bills, a couple $1,000s in camping, and it'll be pretty much a wash. The net shouldn't change much, but just to make it perfectly clear that we do know that there will still be some expenses and some revenues coming in, so the net will change a little bit. But that's a look at the numbers. If you've got any questions, if you don't understand something, if you want to know why something's the way it is, feel free to contact me. You can contact Adam Gullett or Joe Thomas, and we'll be glad to talk to you about it. If anyone would like a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, send me an email, and I'll send you a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. It's all out there, open, available, public information. There it is. That's the numbers. The numbers don't lie, so it is what it is. We do, a lot of folks put a lot of work into putting the festival on, but again, it is not a big money maker for the parks. It is something that is done for the enjoyment of the public, and fortunately, we've been able to do it and still keep it in the black, and that's the important thing. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to the one of the three of us, myself, Adam, or Joe, and we'll be glad to talk to you about it. Folks, that's it for this episode with a recap of Monday evening's council meeting and a look at the Firelands Festival for this year. As always, if you've got questions, comments, concerns, or events you'd like publicized, be sure to let me know. And until next time, stay safe and God bless the United States of America.